once again a warm welcome, Flight Sim and other stuff, and I'm back with the first of a set of lessons I'm going to do, or a set of tutorials, or a set of how-tos, whatever you want to call it. And we're here, the X-Touch Mini, and we're going to create some gauges on this using the templates provided, and we're just going to go through it. The first lesson is just going to get you up and running. There's no coding required. This is real basic, dead easy stuff. I'm going to take you through every step of the way, step by step, and by the time we've finished, you'll have an X-Touch Mini working with the Cessna 172. Just basics, and once we've done that, the next one we're going to start going into understanding how those templates are working, how the dials are working. We're not going to touch the LEDs in the first couple because that's going to require a little bit more advanced knowledge, but don't worry, if you've never done coding before, you're going to find this dead easy, I promise you. If you have done coding before, then yeah, skip forward and let's just have some fun. Okay, let's jump down to the computer. Here we are. Okay, first things first, we've got to download the files we're going to use. I assume you've already got Access NOs downloaded, installed, and ready to go. So we're going to need a couple of other things. I will put links to all of these applications in the notes below. So you just click on the links and grab the files that we're going to be using. Now, first of all, we're going to need a text editor. Now, you can use the text editor built in with Microsoft Windows, that's no problem. Personally, I use Notepad++, and I think this is a lot better. And when we get onto the more advanced stuff, I think this sort of text editor is going to be of use of you. It's completely free, so download it. If you've never used text editors before, this is the one to use. So download Notepad++ and install that. You will need to download the X-Touch Mini Gauge for use with Access NOs. This is the real clever stuff that's Phonetics done, and this is what we're going to be showing you how to program and how to use. But like I said, dead easy to start with, nothing too complicated. Download My Two Gauges, or My Two Layers. This is for the C172, and this will get you up and running. Cut and paste. We're going to use that. And from the Access NOs website, you need to download the MSFS in-game panel for displaying Access NOs web gauges. You need to download this one here. So go and download those, pause the video, and come back when you've got them. So when you've downloaded, you should have these files here. Double click the installer for Notepad++, and then just extract the other files. So we'll now have the X-Touch 172. Those are the two files from me, and inside there will be two text files. So to install Lorbe's Content FIP panel, this is the pop-up panel that sits inside the toolbar in Microsoft Flight Simulator. All you have to do is put this in your community folder, or if, like me, you're using MF Add-ons Linker, which is also available from the flightsim.to site. I put all my add-ons, all my third-party add-ons, inside a dummy folder. That dummy folder is sitting on my C drive, I think. No, it's not. It's sitting on my hard disk, and I've got a folder in here called MFS add-ons. Go back into here, and I put all my third-party add-ons into here. And the advantage of this is, one, if I've got lots and lots of add-ons, I can unload them. That speeds up the loading time, and what's the point of loading scenery for Hong Kong and Asia if you're flying around the south of England? But most importantly, if there are any issues with any of these add-ons, I can just switch them on and off. So I've put my Lorbe's Content FIP panel folder in here. I just dragged this into here and we're ready to go when the flight simulator launches. As long as I have it ticked on the left hand side, Lorbe's content, as long as I tick that, then when I load the simulator we'll have that in the toolbar. For the next step we'll go into our downloads, and now we're looking at the X-Gauge add-on. In here is the full documentation. Definitely read it, it's very well written, but I'm going to take you through every step, stage by stage. And also I'm doing an upgrade. He released an upgrade just last night, so we're going to put the upgrade in. Normally you just follow the instructions, so I need to unpack this folder here. Let's extract all. And then I have this Lorbis Access a Nose Files folder. Now all I have to do is drag and drop this into my documents folder. If you look at your documents, you should already have a Lorbis and Access Files folder in here. So you just drag and drop this, put this into your documents folder, and it will merge the contents here. If we want to have a look what the contents are, we have the user gauges. These are the graphics for that in-game panel, and there are 4 different sizes supplied to you. There's a large one, a medium one, a small and an extra small one. We can play around with those. And there are some scripts, and these are the default scripts in the system. Very important, these ones. So you're just going to drag and drop these over. Because I'm doing an upgrade, all I want is this section here, so we'll extract the upgrade files, launch Access a Nose, and then go to scripting, import scripts from my downloads, update only, open this one, X-Touch, import, and do I want to overwrite? Absolutely, yes, yes, import finished. That's the upgrade, really easy. And I haven't lost any of my work, I hope. So, recapping. Download the X-Touch Gauge file. Unpack it. Unpack the Access a Nose. Drag this into your documents. If you are doing an update, unpack the update file. So I've got this script in here in Lorbis Access a Nose. Go to scripting, import scripts, import that, overwrite the existing ones, and you're running the very latest version. And then finally, in your downloads, there are the tutorial files for the C172, and we're just going to grab both of these, copy them, and put them into documents, Access a Nose files, scripts, X-Touch Gauge, right click and paste, and there's going to be your 2 files, the 1720, 1721 files, which we're going to use in this tutorial. Sounds too easy, doesn't it? Well, we're nearly done, to be quite honest. I'm going to start up the simulator. Okay, so once the simulator is loaded, we need to get the Cessna Skyhawk, pick one of the liveries, because you can have different setups for different liveries. So I'm going to use the Kenmore livery on this one and put it in an airport. So I'll go to Shoreham and we'll stick it at one of these gates and fly. And we're just about ready to fly. Let's set it to daytime so we can see what's happening. There we go. Now we need to import a template file for Access and O's and the X-Touch into this aircraft. So I'll look at my Access and O's, and up here you can see it's loaded from the master, and I've already got something in here, so I'm going to remove that, and in my templates I'm going to empty the current config. And the reason I'm deleting the config is because I already have a Access and O script talking to the X-Touch Mini but not using these templates, so I want to get rid of that and start completely from scratch. So I've deleted everything. Now I need to import the template, so we go to import template, and in your downloads in the X-Touch gauge there is an X-Touch template. Just import that, I'm not going to import because I've already done it. I don't want 2 copies of it. And then I can apply a template to this aircraft, and it's the X-Touch template. And there we are. Not finished yet. Unfortunately, if only it was that easy. And we put that template on all the aircraft that we're going to use. And we're going to have to put this template into every aircraft that we're going to use with the X-Touch Mini using these gauges. I don't think that's a big problem. Wasn't particularly hard, was it? I just load the aircraft and then go to templates and apply a template to this aircraft. And if you've already used Access and O's to set up lots of other buttons, it doesn't matter. You can just merge the template with your existing setup, as long as the existing configuration for that aircraft doesn't have another X-Touch Mini configuration on there. Now I need to set up a configuration script for this aircraft, and just bear with me, it's pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to scripting and open the RPN scripts editor, and inside here there is the X-Touch, and here are some default files, but I'm going to create some new ones. I'm going to edit these and save them myself. But before I do this, I should create a folder for each of my aircraft. I've already done it here. So in the script editor, the first thing I want you to do is go to Manage Script Groups and create a new group for your aircraft. As can be seen, I've already created one called a Asobo C172. Just create one for your own use. Why not use the same naming convention? Because if you're going to follow along with the tutorial, it makes life easier. So just in here, Asobo C172 and add. Now in the tree on the left hand side, navigate down to X-Touch and double click on the X-Touch per aircraft template. Double click in it so it appears in here. And there's a couple of edits we need to put in here. First of all, I want you to replace the XXX with C172. You need this so it will work with the two files I've provided you for the layers. Down here, the annunciator lights test. Set that to a 0 if it's not already there. As can be seen, the default, it's already there. Change the name of the file just by highlighting per aircraft template, delete. And now I want to save this in the Asobo group. So from the script group drop down, select the Asobo group that you've created and save. And now when I go up to the Asobo C172, in there's X-Touch Auto, and if I double click on it, you'll see the files in there. The final thing I need to do is go to my scripting and aircraft automated scripts. Click this. From the C172 X-Touch Auto Script, select it as one shot, beginning, and add. And now I've added that script to automatically run every time the aircraft starts. And it only has to run once to initialize things. Job done. Next step, if you want to see the gauge, there are two ways of displaying the gauge. Assuming you've copied all the files across correctly, I can display it as a desktop FIP. So I go to Gauges, Desktop FIP, and then from the drop down list there will be the gauges that Lorby supplied, and there are also the gauges for the X-Touch Mini, and you select one of those and there's your gauge. And you can't close this, that doesn't do anything, you can't close that window, just click anywhere. And I can move this around. If I've got multiple screens, it would drag to different screens. This is a desktop instrument. Go back to Lorby's, Access and O's, Gauges, switch that one off. And now select WebFIP. And if I tick that, select the X-Touch Mini Small or Large or Medium, whichever one you want. Click anywhere. Now, assuming you've done all the other steps that I've shown you at the start of this video, you will see the Lorby Access and O's FIP panel in here, and when I click on that, there is your Access and O's running inside. And if I move the slider up and down, you can see it moving up and down. And if I twiddle any of these, the light comes on and the gauge works. If I press a button, it just works. The up and down can't go that way, go the other way. It takes me to the second page. There are only 2 pages on here. Backwards and forwards, up and down. The range buttons on the G530 here, these are going to be long presses on here. So there you have it, your first working gauge. Try it in VR if you want to use this. If you're using it in 2D, you might not want to use the panel here. You might want to use the gauge as a desktop gauge. But now you're up and running. You've got your C172 and you've got your first 2 layers. That's the end of the first lesson. Wasn't that hard, was it? Next one, we're going to start expanding it, and we'll add more buttons and we'll add more layers. That's it. Dead easy, I thought. Okay, there were a lot of steps, but it becomes muscle memory after a while, so just follow the stage through and you've now got a working C172 and a couple of layers on the Behringer X-Touch Mini. And next lesson, we're going to add more layers, we're going to add more buttons, and I'm going to show you how the buttons are programmed and how we can do our own coding. I promise you, it is really, really simple. It's going to get more difficult as we progress and want to do more complex things, but let's take you through it step by step. Hope this is of use. Can't wait to get on and do the next one. As usual, enjoy your flying, take care, and hope to see you soon. Bye.